here again with the Electron Digitakt, and what I'm gonna get into pretty much right in this session is I'm gonna play a few patterns. Let's see. I've gone into some other things with the Digitakt. I'm experimenting with it more. For one, let's see. I got like three patterns I'm gonna play for you right here. One of them is like a techno pattern, and I didn't even really use a lot of tracks on this one. I only used like 4 tracks here. One of them has a loop playing. So this is just an example of a loop playing, and let's see. The loop wasn't exactly perfect as I played it, like the timing, but as you all know already, the Digitakt doesn't have time stretching on it. So as to make the loop last the whole scale, because I'm at 120 BPMs, I put the forward loop feature on, and I messed with the length, of course, and then the loop, where the loop starts. Now, actually, the loop plays in at the pretty much at the end, or wherever you play, wherever you set the length, the end length of the pattern. There's this little like cutoff at the end, like a little fadeaway. It fades off at the end, so you got to keep that in mind. I haven't learned how to adjust that. I don't know if you can actually adjust that, the sample. So like the sample or loop, whatever you're forward looping, you adjust the loop, you adjust the length. See, like right here, I'm adjusting the length, and then this is where actually my loop is going to start playing. So the loop plays, it repeats at the end of the playing of the sample. So and there's actually at the end of the sample, there's always like a little like fade off. So yeah, so see, I don't even have a delay on here. I have a little bit of a reverb, and it kind of like, I don't know, when the loop plays, you'll see it, you'll hear it in the pattern. As like the loop just like, it keeps playing at the end until it fades off, and it fades off. It kind of has like this like delay effect to it. So that's one thing to keep in mind when you're playing with the loop. I don't know, that's what I came to find when I'm playing with the forward loop. Reverse loop, I think, too, but we're talking about the forward loop here. So I kind of noticed that with when I'm playing around with that. I don't know if you can adjust that. I haven't looked into it. I haven't really heard anything about it. But yeah. So in this pattern, that's what I got going on. And I have 2 other patterns playing here that I'm going to be playing later, and I'll go more into detail about how the what's included in those patterns. Those are like more like some hip hop, boom bap type of patterns, a little abstract sounding, but more on the hip hop kind of level, because they're at, one of them's at 90 BPMs and the other one's at 100 BPMs. So those are other 2 patterns that I'm going to be playing with. And then I posted a few my other videos of just patterns that I just built, played around with, because I just got the Digitakt. So I just posted a few patterns that I thought were pretty cool, sounded pretty cool. I had fun making, and I just posted them. So this is probably going to be one of the last video posts that I'm going to be doing for a while, because I plan on getting more into the Digitakt, reading the manual, getting more familiar with the manual, and familiar with what the Digitakt could do. And actually, since the last video that I posted, there's actually been another update. So I'm going to be getting into that update. I think one of them, I read a little bit about the update. I guess the delay and the reverb, there's more of a graphic detail, kind of like how this graphic is. I guess that's what I'm assuming. I haven't really seen or heard anything about it, what it looks like. But I plan on doing the update because it actually fixes a few bugs But what I'm hoping is that with later updates that the Digitakt will get, I'm hoping that eventually we'll get the choice of having this type of graphic detail here for the ADSR right here on the filter, and the amp too, because when I got the Digitakt, I was playing around. Yeah, here we go. I was playing around with the Digitakt before I did the very first update, and I got used to having these dials here as on the graphic display. And when I finally did the update, that changed. Like for instance, here in the filter, the ADSR, there used to be dials here, and after the update, of course, it changed to this type of graphic detail. And I don't know, I miss it. This is still cool. I mean, I can still get things done, but I'm just hoping maybe with some other updates in the future that we have our choice of having this type of graphics, the dial graphics, or having the ADSR type of graphics, or I even think the new update, I think it's more on the lines of here with the frequency and the resonance. I think that's how it might look for the delay and the reverb. So that's what I'm thinking. I don't know, but it says I read about what the new update includes. It's 1.2, and there's more of a graphic type of looking display for the delay and the reverb, and I think something else too. But I'll get into that later. But this is probably going to be one of the last videos I'm going to be posting of stuff with the Digitakt, because I want to get more familiar with it. And yeah, basically it. So let's get into this first pattern. It's kind of like a techno pattern, and I only have 4 tracks. I'm going to unselect those because those are MIDI anyways, and this is all audio using the samples inside the Digitakt. But these are some samples that I loaded up, and I have a loop playing, and then just some bass kick, and I think I don't know, another type of sound. I don't know, but I'm gonna be getting into that right about now. Yeah, so that was that right there, and I'm sure you could hear the example of the loop. I had it on track one, and when you have the play forward loop feature, which is what I had, which is, the loop plays, and then at the end, the sample plays, and then at the end, it repeats wherever you have the loop set, the loop start set at. It could be anywhere inside of your sample length, and then it just like fades off at the end. It has like a delay. So I don't know really how to adjust that. I don't even have the delay on. There's nothing to delay. I have some reverb, but I don't think it should add that much type of delay there. So I don't know really how to adjust that, if it even can be adjusted. So I don't know. So that's just an example of how playing around with loops, you can actually load some loops into your tracks and fiddle with them. Since there's not time stretching, you could add that type of effect at the end of the loop. Since if the loop, is a little off, or because you can tune it a little bit, but tuning it isn't, tuning the sample doesn't really fix it that much to get it, really quantized or time stretched to the time frame that you're looking for. So, but actually, with the forward loop features, adding the loop at the end of the sample helps you with that a little bit, and it has a nice little effect. So I think that's pretty cool. So without having time stretching, you still have that, and it works out pretty cool. So let's get into the next pattern here. So, like I mentioned, this is more like a hip hop, boom bap, kind of abstract type of pattern here, and I'll just get into it. As you can see, I don't know, what do I have? I think it's I forgot how many tracks are on here. I think it's only 3, but the example that I have playing right here is something kind of like the sample flip inside of with the Novation circuit. That is kind of like incorporated here with the Digitakt. So on each track, you don't have to stick with just one sample. So with each step, you can actually assign different samples to each step, to each track, well, to each trig. That's what they call it with the Electron. It's not actually a step, but you can't call it that, but they call them trigs instead. So everything that's illuminated here, this is actually an active step or an active trig, and I can't just this is inside of one track 1, and this is say track 1. So this is like what's being played. So I'm not just I could assign any sample that I want. I choose my samples for each step. So it's kind of like the sample flip, but it's actually easier to program because with the sample flip on the Novation circuit, there's a lot of copying and pasting that you have to do. There's a lot of workaround to get that to work. So and with the Digitakt, it's actually way simpler because you just lay down your trigs or select your steps, and you just hold down your trig and you can select your sample, what you want playing on that trig. So it's actually way easier and way simpler. So let's get into this pattern. that was about 90 BPMs, and there was only 2 tracks there, if you noticed. And also another thing on this pattern, I was getting more into the conditional triggering, the conditional trigs, that's what they call it. So, you know, with the sequencing, which, I mean, the sequencer in the Digitakt is way awesome. I mean, there's all these things you could do. You could do P-locks, conditional trigs, selecting different samples, which is what they call sample flip, inside of each track or each trig. They call it sample flip with the Novation circuit, but it's, you know, Electron has their own way of doing it, and it's way easier. So, I mean, that's just a few things that you could do with the sequencer. The sequencer is really cool, and conditional trigs, of course, is you could, with each trig, you can actually set like a point on when that trig is going to go off. So it could go off like every 3 times the pattern is playing. There's different ways you could set it for that trig to go off. You could set it for just once every loop, or you could set it by percentages, like 25% of the time, 50% of the time, 95% of the time, even 5% of the time, I think, or 10% of the time. So that's a little bit of the conditioning trigs, and I was experimenting a little bit with that. So in that pattern right there, so that's what was going on there. And I only had 2 tracks right there. So there was a synth type of track right there. Track 1 had like my synths and organ sounds playing, and I had a few different samples playing in there. And then on track 2, I had my drums, of course, which is pretty much boom bap. So I had you know, different basses, different kicks, and some snares and some little percussions inside of that, just in that track right there. So only 2 tracks. So that's what was playing right there. So let's go into the last track. Well, actually, the last pattern that I'm going to be playing. I forgot how many I have playing in this one. But this one's 100 BPM, and this is more like a hip-hop boom bap, more abstract. So I forgot how many tracks I have playing in this one, so that's why I have them all selected. But I'll deselect them, and then you'll see how many tracks are really in this pattern playing right here. So check it out. Yeah, so that's the last pattern I was playing right there, and as you can see, I only had there was only 3 tracks going, and there was actually about 2 drum tracks inside a drum track. Well, 2 drum tracks right here. I had some synths playing on this one on the 3rd track. On the 1st track, I had a little bit of some synth stabs in there, along with some drums, and track 2 was a little bit of some drums too, a little bit of some extra kicks. So yeah, so that's a little bit of example of, I guess I don't know what you would call it. I don't know what you call it, but with the circuit, it's called sample flip. But it's way easier to get your sample flip going on in the Digitakt, because, like I mentioned, all you do is hold down your trig, you select this dial would select your sample. So, select a sample here, select a different sample here, select a different sample there, and as it's playing, it's going to play those different samples as the pattern plays. So it's way easier. There's no copy and pasting going on. I don't know if there's any other easier way to do it with the Novation circuit. That's how I know it so far. So, it's still the circuit's still capable of doing that, and it's actually cool when, it's cool to do it on the Novation circuit. It was an awesome feature, and but with the Digitakt, it's way easier to get it going. So there was some conditional trigs in there too. I'm going to be, like I mentioned, I'm going to be getting away from doing post and, not focusing so much on doing post. I'm not really focused on doing video posts, but, I just thought I would, I just got this machine that's pretty popular right now, so I thought I'd just throw some examples out there. But, as for myself, I'm going to be stepping away from all that, getting more into the manual. Oh, and then I'm also getting into the MIDI tracks too. I have my organelle right here, the Blofeld also, so I'm going to try to incorporate those with the Digitakt, and yeah, get busy with it, So until next time, have fun with the Digitakt. If you're waiting for yours to get to you, I bet you can't wait. It's well worth it. I think it's for the price, even though it's, it's not too expensive, but it's not chump change, It's a few $100s. Well, it's not $300. It's actually, almost twice that. Well, a little bit more than twice that, but I think it's well worth it. They're coming out with the updates, fixing the bugs, of course, and so, Electron's not ignoring everything that they hear about it, so, they're fixing the bugs. I heard the update also includes the fixing on the chord playing with the MIDI tracks, so that's cool. So I really look forward to getting into that, and so, if yours is on the way, congratulations. It's a cool machine. For those of you who already have one, you know what you can get into. It's an awesome piece of gear, and if you're going to be getting one or thinking about getting one, I'll just let you know it's worth it. It's cool. It's a cool machine. It's not going to let you down. It's Electron, and it's compact, and it gets the job done. It's an awesome sequencer. It's a cool sampler. I don't know what more to say about it. It doesn't do everything, of course, but for what it does, it's pretty cool. You could get your glitch on with that forward loop playing, setting the loop point on your sample to repeat. You could adjust the length. It's a cool little machine. You could stack a lot of samples inside of the machine. That's another big plus. The drive is way easier to get around and to actually format too, so you can store your samples in there, and you can have your folders. So it's way cool. The computer's way cool to store your samples, and load up your projects. And yeah, it's cool. So till next time, peace out.